She said, Pastor, please don't read my whole bio, and I promise you, bless you, sister. If I start reading her whole bio, we'd be here all day because this young lady have achieved much greatness in her life. Welcome to the greenhouse. You can be seated.
Thank you.
We've been honoring this week, and we've been dealing with the subject in our Black History Month of Grace for Greatness. We've been bringing individuals from the community to the church to show the next generation that you can be black, you can be fly, you can be popular and cool, but still be grace for grace and do great things for the Lord. So it's an honor to today, because not only are you doing great things in the community from a law enforcement perspective, but I've been knowing you, we've been knowing each other since we were, I think, in junior high school. So it's an honor to see God using people that probably would have never thought about anyone having us at this level. So first of all, let's just give God praise, for God can do good in the hood. Give God praise. Jackie is currently serving as the, I'm trying to do it on my notes, the Public Relations Director. Give me your title. Director of Community Relations. But what's so special about that, listen to this. In 2018, she's the first African-American woman to ever hold this position. That's what makes it so great. She's the first. So we're looking at a young lady who has become the first in her field of doing what she's doing. That's why I wanted her before you, because it's not where you start, it's where you finish. And she's the very first. She's been dealing in law enforcement for 26 years. For 26 years, she's been a boss for a long time. So I want to ask you the first question, Jackie. When did you first recognize the call on your life for the position and craft that you're in? When did you decide that I'm not going to just be a girl from the block, but I'm going to change the block?
I can say it all started, as he stated, I'm a product of Cashmere Senior High School. Y'all can do a little bit better.
Yeah, come on, yeah.
Come on now. And it all started at a young age, because I was blessed to be raised in a household with mother and father, but I also had grandparents and great-grandparents around me. So they were always teaching, and I come from a minister's family. My grandfather was a minister, my uncles, etc. We were always giving. So it's always been in my heart, in my passion, to give back to the community. But now I've taken that craft to even more so deal with children, making sure that children have a solid foundation, because I don't have any biological children myself, but I have been a member of Top Ladies of Distinction for about 12 years, and we have a youth component, which is Top Teens of America. So those have been my children, making sure that they receive the knowledge, skills, and abilities to function in this world. And so that has been truly a blessing to me. I knew that long ago that we had to do something. And even more so in the last few years, if you've seen, we've had to take a more active interest in our children, making sure that they have that foundation. So I want to provide the foundation. It's a little bit different than when you and I came about.
Yes, definitely.
But however, it's modern times that I am providing that foundation for them. So that's what I strive to do. It started early.
It's amazing. One common denominator that I've had with every speaker is they gave back to the community.
Yes.
They had a heart and passion for giving back. Now, one individual said, I'm doing what I'm doing for the money, for the fame, or the glory. It has always been because I'm dedicated to giving back to my community. So we honor you, we thank you for that. Now, in the midst of you rising to the top in your field, first of all, being African American, and secondly, being a woman, that's a double whammy, but you've risen to the top. How have you dealt with obstacles along the course?
It's been difficult because, as you know, being in law enforcement, being a female, there's still people that have that stigma that, females should not be in law enforcement. And I've worked for the Harris County Sheriff's Office for the last 26 years. I just came out of law enforcement just a couple of months ago to step into the director spot. But the way that I've dealt with it was staying grounded in my faith, having faith in God.
That's right.
Because He is the one that set the tone for me. I used to take a lot of things home with me early on in my career. But as I gradually grew wiser in dealing in my field, I learned how to not only, I always had God first, but I leaned on him even harder in facing those obstacles. So as a woman, yes, I went and got my education, got all of the certifications just like the males did. But the thing is that I stayed with my faith.
Gave back to the community, stayed with her faith. These are principles that we all can apply in our life to achieve greatness. If you can have a conversation with a 15-year-old Jackie back at Cashmere High School, knowing everything you know now, in 2018, what would you advise a younger you to do?
Right now, learn all you can. Take advantage of every opportunity that is available to you at school. Be involved, not only in school, but in your community also. Because right now, there is a need. We need the voices. I need the help, especially in law enforcement, even though I'm not in a full capacity anymore. But we still need to have people of color in law enforcement to be able to go out into the community. Young females, there are a lot of skills that are out there, and what I always tell young people, not only females but males, be the best at whatever you do.
Yes.
Whatever profession you choose, whether it be an attorney, you can be president, you can be a congresswoman, you can be someone working at the fast food restaurant. Always be the best at what you can give to the community. And then go back and give back. What little that you have, it doesn't have to come in the form of money. It can come in the form of service. And so when Eddie and I'm going to call him Eddie because I've known him all that time and I know he's pastor. But you give back of ourselves. Service costs nothing. But you're giving more to the community that they can see you and understand that I can do it. Don't let because you came from the neighborhood stop you. Don't let because you lived in the projects stop you. Okay? It is up to you to make the choice today to say, I am somebody. I am going to make it. I'm going to change my circumstances and I can do this. And it doesn't matter that I make over $100,000 a year, as long as I am working and doing something productive in the neighborhood that you do not have to come and visit Miss Jackie down at the Harris County Jail. That is a positive message right there.
That's right.
Amen. Amen. Let me, I will close with my remarks and then Jackie will give final remarks. But let me, on this past week, there were some incidents in the community that I was dealing with, helping some families out. And on Tuesday night, Jackie sponsored a meeting with law enforcement. I was honored to be a part of that meeting, and I asked the Harris County Sheriff's Department for help in 2 areas. And within 48 hours, both of those situations were resolved. How can I say this? A human trafficking ring has been busted up. But I refused to stay silent. And I had people that could help me make a lot of noise. So a little girl is back home with her family. And then another family had been carjacked. 6-year-old girl with a gun to her head. And they took their vehicle. And law enforcement had the vehicle, but couldn't give it back to them because of investigation, and there were groceries in the vehicle that the infant child needed. I boldly called and said, I need the vehicle, I need the groceries. Do your job quickly. And within 24 hours, they had the vehicle back because I had help on the inside. That's why we must not antagonize law enforcement, but work with law enforcement. I don't know about you, but I don't want my alarm to go off at home and I can't call 911. So the police are not our enemy. They are our friends if we enter into partnership and relationship with them.
That's right.
So going forward, whenever there's a Harris County Sheriff's Department meeting here in the Greenspoint community, it'll be hosted here at the Greenhouse International Church, because we're in partnership with law enforcement to make our community a better place. Yes.
It's not only just the sheriff's office. You have to take an active interest in your community, period. anytime that there's a meeting dealing with your community, we need to show up. Don't show up when the bad stuff happens. We got to show up before the bad stuff happens. We have to be engaged. That's why I said with our young people, read, read, read.
Now, not just Facebook
Not
and
just
Instagram.
Facebook. You're exactly right.
Amen.
But Facebook is there to, just highlight a few things. But read what's going on in your community. When there's a community meeting, it should be a packed house. It
Yes.
should be a packed house, just like church service here, because you have an active interest. And one of the things that we're going to be doing under my leadership at the sheriff's office, and especially with the sheriff, Sheriff Ed Gonzalez, he loves the community. He wants us to engage more with the community. We want to hear what's going on from you, not when the disaster happens. We find out what's going on. So when we have those community meetings, I will be sharing that with Pastor Decker. Show up. Learn about what's going on, because it may not be happening in your community, but guess what? At least you know about it, and you can say, hey, in my community, I'm going to prevent it from happening. This is
Amen.
what I have to do. So I thank you, Pastor Decker,
No,
for
we
sharing
thank
that
you.
information.
And we want to
with
present you with, so we're going to ask your husband's here, right?
No, he's not
Yeah,
here.
okay.
As a matter of fact, my husband works for the court system, so he's at work today. But I thank God, because he is one of my biggest fans outside of my parents and the rest of my family. And it's a whole bunch of us. So.